venerable monks and nuns, to some of my federal parliamentary colleagues. I know Gai Brodman and Peter Khalil and Richard Di Natale, and if others join us, I'll try to acknowledge them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I might have to rush through because I don't know when the bells are going to ring for the next vote. So can I wish everyone a happy Vesak Day. It's a particularly auspicious day when Buddhists all over the world commemorate the birth, enlightenment and the passing away of the Buddha. Vesak Day is an important event on our national calendar. And Vesak Day celebrations around the country are examples of just how successful Australia's multicultural society has become. Australians, regardless of our background, can freely come together to celebrate and share cultures and faith traditions. And of course we know millions of people have come from all over the world, and as Brian said, you know, the idea of freedom of religion is very important to us. We are a nation which continues to be majority Christian, but we see people of other faith traditions in our nation making a contribution and freely expressing their faith. And that is a wonderful thing. And of course, our Buddhists are a growing part of our community, over 500,000. So one of our largest religious groupings, and they are a very welcome part of our community, and our nation is enriched by them. The Australian government, of course, supports a productive, harmonious and diverse society for all Australians and values all of our faith communities. And I should note that in our multicultural statement recently, we reaffirmed the commitment to freedom of religion, amongst other freedoms. Of course, as I said, Buddhism is a growing part of our nation. 529,000 Australians at the 2011 census, and I've no doubt that will have grown. 30% of those were born in Australia, but of course many have come from all around the world. Buddhists hold dear respect, compassion and understanding, and I think these are all important values that Australians of many different faiths share. The key to our success as a multicultural society is our focus on what unites us and not what divides us, and we celebrate some of those shared values today. I'd like to briefly read a message from the Prime Minister, and I hope the bells won't cut me off, so I'll get on to that. The Prime Minister says, "The traditional festival of Vesak is rich in symbolism and spiritual significance, a time for faith and community, a moment to welcome peace and happiness, and an opportunity to affirm one's commitment to the 5 precepts. Vesak is also a powerful reminder of a wonderful gift that Buddhism has brought to this nation, and how its particular values and insights, such as equality, respect and understanding, remain relevant to all Australians." With these thoughts in mind, I hope that everyone observing the birth, enlightenment and death of the Buddha is inspired and uplifted by these special celebrations. And that's from Malcolm Turnbull, Prime Minister of Australia. Thank you very much, and can I just conclude by congratulating the Federation of Australian Buddhist Councils for its work as a peak body representing Buddhism in Australia. I'd like to congratulate the Australian Sangha Association for your work in representing our Buddhist monks and nuns. Your work helps add to Australia's multicultural success stories. I wish everyone all the best for this important festival, and thank you very much for being here at Parliament House today.
Those are very warm words. There are many reasons why we're fortunate to have Ajahn Brahm to say a few words on behalf of the Australian Buddhist community. Realising there was something more beneficial to society than his theoretical physics degree from Cambridge, he became a monk more than 4 decades ago, learning meditation and Buddhist tools for happiness in the remote forest of Thailand. Since then, he has published best-selling books, spoken as a keynote at many conferences in Asia and Europe, helped many ordained Buddhist monks and nuns through the establishment of the Australian Sangha Association, promoted gender equity in Buddhism, and also built bridges between Buddhism and other religious faiths. Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn means teacher, is based near Perth, where he's the abbot of Bodhinyana Monastery and the spiritual director of the Buddhist Society of Western Australia. Please join me to welcome Ajahn Brahm.
Thank you, Brian. And first of all, for Senator Zed, You mentioned that Ajahn means teacher, you never mentioned what Brahm means. And Brahm stands for B for Buddhist, R for Roman Catholic, A for Anglican, H for Hindu, and M for Muslim. So we do try very hard to embrace all the different religions. Judaism, we couldn't fit in the J there somewhere. But one of the reasons why we are here is to try and make sure that Buddhism is recognised in our federal government. I often read out this little quote which was in the Sydney Morning Herald some years ago. It was in the letters to the editor. I don't know about the Christians and the Muslims, but I'm greatly concerned about those Buddhists. It is simply un-Australian, the manner in which they are so kind, gentle and tolerant, never seeking headlines or whinging about how they are treated. Can this be quickly addressed before it spreads? So that's our reputation, but it also shows some of our weaknesses as well. Buddhism is growing, it is becoming an important part of Australia. It is internationally recognised in the conferences which I go and attend, just how successful Buddhism has been integrating in Australia, and we still do have our concerns, our weaknesses which we really need the help of our federal government, whether it's visas or help with what we call DGRs, anyone who, we are a tradition which doesn't sell anything. And because of that, many of our temples are impoverished. Our Federation of Australian Buddhist Councils, our ASA, basically we run on a shoestring. And for people who wear sandals, there's not much of a shoestring there to run on. So because of that, we do seek the assistance with our legitimate concerns. And at last we have a federation, Australian Sangha Association, which is truly representative of the Buddhists of Australia. And that true representation is a wonderful thing. You may not know, Senator, that Buddhism, especially the Buddhist Sangha, is the oldest continuous democratic tradition existing in our world today. Our tradition runs on democracy. It was started in a democratic tradition. In fact, the democracy was in India 26 centuries ago at the same time as it was in Athens. We hold similar values, which is one of the reasons I think that Buddhism fits in very well to the Australian way of doing things. So we look forward to working with you and the other ministers in the future for a positive contribution to Australia, to harmony, to the happiness of our land, and also to the progress of everybody here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ajahn Brahm. Now, I'd like you to know that the driving force behind today's historic gathering is Cecilia Mitra from the Federation of Australian Buddhist Councils, or as we call it, the FABC. Like our host, Senator Seselja, Cecilia is a lawyer by training. She originally trained and practiced in Singapore, but added postgraduate legal studies after coming to Australia. Her experience includes lecturing, business law, and managing a medical practice in the private sector. Her volunteer contribution to the Australian Buddhist community includes raising awareness of Buddhism, representing Buddhism to other religions, organising conferences and events, contributing Buddhist content to the Museum of Western Australia, and, very importantly to our Buddhist monks and nuns, facilitating the revision of religious visa regulations to be more inclusive of the vows of Buddhist monks and nuns. Very, very important. Cecilia is the President of the FABC and a member of the Buddhist Council of Western Australia. Please join me to welcome Cecilia Mitra.
Thank you, Brian. Brian is the representative from the Buddhist Council of New South Wales, which represents more than 200 Buddhist organisations in Australia. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land. This is the first time that Vesak, which is the most important day on the Buddhist calendar, has been acknowledged here at Federal Parliament House. Vesak celebrates the life of the Buddha, the birth, the enlightenment, and final passing. The teachings of the Buddha, the Dharma, continue to be a great gift to the world after 2,600 years. On behalf of the Buddhist community, I thank the Honourable Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull for your message. Thank you, Senator the Honourable Zed Seleja, for facilitating this celebration of Vesak at Parliament House today. Thanks to all the federal MPs and senators here today. We know that budget sitting is one of the busiest times for you, but you have budgeted your time well by being here today. No doubt your Buddhist constituents will know about this. Thank you everyone who's made this event possible. As has been said, the FABC is the peak body of Australian Buddhists. It comprises the 5 Buddhist state councils of New South Wales, Victoria, WA, Queensland, and South Australia. These state councils, we represent the Buddhist organizations. The state councils represent the Buddhist organizations in their own states, and we have representatives from all the state councils here. The ACT Buddhist State Council is in its final stages of formation and will be part of the FABC soon. FABC represents all the main denominations of Buddhism, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. And we work very closely with the Australian Sangha Association, the peak body of ordained Australian monks and nuns, whose representatives are here today as well. Buddhism has come to Australia mainly through our migrant communities throughout Asia, but Buddhism is not a religion just of the migrant communities. Buddhism is very popular with Anglo-Saxon Australians, as can be seen by the makeup of the FABC committee. Buddhism has integrated very well in the Australian society, and we are part of every sector of the Australian community. According to the 2011 census, as the 2016 figures are not out yet, there are well more than 500,000 Buddhists in Australia, and our numbers are growing. Buddhism is the second largest religion in Australia. We are active contributors to the economy, law-abiding, hard-working citizens who are harmonious and well-integrated Australians, and we vote. I hope to see more involvement of Buddhists in national issues. Buddhist organizations throughout Australia have for decades been helping Australian society to be a cohesive community by sharing the practice of developing kindness and compassion, wisdom and clarity of mind. These practices may sound passive, but are powerful tools for the development of strong communities bound by basic human values. Our organizations have been sharing these practical methods with anyone wishing to hear it, and many of our attendees are not Buddhists. Hence, we have been functioning as benevolent institutions for decades. The objective of Buddhism is happiness, happiness born of morality, mindfulness, and wisdom, developing skills for a healthy and happy mind. So, we have been giving free counseling and meditation lessons well before mindfulness enjoyed the current acceptance and recognition it does. So what are we here for? We are here to celebrate Vesak, and what are we working towards? We're working towards for the government and the media to recognize Buddhism as the second largest religion in Australia, and for the Buddhist perspective to be shared in national conversations. And we hope to have regular meetings with the government to discuss concerns Buddhists have in your constituency. Please stay around for photos, interaction, and light refreshments. Thank you.